6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother... What we do here is go back.
Hey everybody, Steven Jensen here with Jessi Davin. We're here to talk about AEW, and it's been about a week or so, so got a lot to talk about. Probably do about an hour or so today. If you have any questions, any comments, any statements, anything like that you want read out or want up on the screen, any of that good stuff, please send us a super chat or donation. Super chats go right through YouTube. Donation link is in the description below. We had a super chat a few days ago that I want to read out that I want to forget from Corey Hummel. Says, lots of love, prayers, and positive vibes for all, Steven and Jessi, for both of your happiness, health, and success, always unconditionally. Jessi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for that. That was Corey, I assume?
Yep.
Thank you so much, Corey. You rule. You're the best. Awesome. I really appreciate it. I'm doing really good. I just want to thank everybody for their outpouring of love and support. With obviously, if you haven't heard, I relapsed into my eating disorder, but I'm fighting it. I fought it before. I'm gonna fight it again, and it's gonna be a long battle, but I'm here for it. So I'm ready to throw down. So yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, and as you know, Jessi, we all got your back. A lot of people got your back. I saw the outpour on Twitter, so that's got to be good to know at the very least.
Yeah.
I know you're dealing with some shit, but a lot of people have your back.
Which is super humbling, and it's very motivating as well. No, you can have that chip. Sorry. And if you hear like gross noises, I'm smushing up ravioli for my child. So
there you go. Nice.
it's not like something inappropriate. So
Well, yeah, today we're just going to kind of hang out, talk a little, mainly AEW. I mean, we could talk really whatever, but some of the kind of the big topics from the past week, we had the announcement of the AEW TBS Championship, the new Women's Championship, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Bobby Fish is all elite, maybe we'll talk about that a little. Of course, we had the return of Hangman Page, and he is now number one contender again for the AEW World title. And then, I haven't watched any of it, but I know that the WWE has the King of the Ring and Queen. What are they calling it? Queen of the Ring? Something.
Queen of the Ring, I think.
I want to say it was like Queen. I don't know, but it's a Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah.
I was looking on Twitter last night. People seemed really, really upset because I guess like all the women's tournament matches totaled like the total amount of time was like 8 minutes for like every single match combined.
Yeah, and Liv Morgan lost.
Who did she wrestle?
Carmella.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I think at this point WWE's probably just trolling the Liv Morgan fan base because
I know, it's awful.
They're like really behind her from what I see on social media.
Yeah, well, and then she tweeted at like Britt Baker or something, and then she got in trouble.
She got in trouble by the WWE for tweeting at Britt Baker.
I don't know if it's true or not. And I saw it on Twitter. It could be fake news, but
I mean, who knows? We know how petty the WWE can be, so I doubt AEW cares at all if they're communicating with other companies. Whatever. So I guess before we get into the AEW stuff, just because I have literally no knowledge of what's going on with literally all I know about the WWE, all I could tell you since the last pay-per-view. All I know that has happened.
Big E's champion.
Yeah, Big E, but that had already happened. Well, sorry, no, yeah. I watched that. That was on the. I did watch that because he announced that on Twitter the morning.
Yeah, that was a Monday Night Raw.
So I tuned in at the end because like Twitter was blowing up like he's cashing in. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna tune in to watch this. But the only other thing I know about is I saw that Chucky was on the show yesterday.
What? He was? I don't know. I may have fallen asleep.
Yeah, Chucky the doll. He was, so there is a Sean, where everyone's making the same joke. It's so funny. But like, Rick Steiner has history with Chucky. And now Rick Steiner's son, Braun Breaker, is in the company. So,
that's right.
Well, Braun Breaker go after Chucky? I don't know. This is a funny tweet from Sean also. WWE keeps relying on WCW stars from over 20 years ago.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because
that's funny.
Once again,
that's
from
this
same clip. Yeah. I saw it was, it'll probably take me a minute to find the actual, any more of the tweet, but what it looked like happened last night, Jessi, is it was like a video of Chucky sitting on his couch at home.
Watching Raw?
And it was like the segment with Lily and Alexa, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no.
I've been calling it, though, that they're going to do
I know, you have.
Alexa or Lily versus Chucky. I knew it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But is there...
Weird.
Yeah, he's either going to try to hook up with Lily or he's going to fight Lily. One of the two.
Probably hook up and fight.
Probably both.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll have like a cinematic match or something. And here's the thing.
Oh, God.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? Like, regardless of what they decide to do, and I know no matter what they decide to do, like, a big part of the fan base is going to completely resent it, but they're not going to stop watching. Like, they're just going to keep watching and complaining about it.
The people that are going to shit on it the hardest are never going to stop watching.
Yeah, for sure. And then there are going to be people who just enjoy it for what it is. And, you just get used to this stuff if you're a WWE fan. Like, I mean, I haven't...
Like the zombies.
What's the zombies?
Remember that match with The Miz and Morrison, the zombies?
Oh God, no. I mean, that was on pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did remember seeing. Yeah, but I wasn't paying much attention. I can't really talk too much about it. But it's like the. I haven't watched this Undertaker and New Day Netflix movie, but like
we started it.
Yeah, and was it
Yeah,
that bad
well,
that
it
you were just
said-
like, I'm out?
You know what we did was, so it's like the first, it's not a spoiler, but like the first screen is like, are you ready? And it's like, yes. And it says, no, I'm scared. And we hit, no, I'm scared. And it rolls these fake credits that says The Undertaker is like the producer, it's directed by. It was really funny.
Oh, okay.
But then it goes, you're not going to get away that easy.
Yeah, no matter what, you probably have to. It's gonna bring you to the same spots regardless. But I mean, here's the thing though. That's just get used to that if you're a WWE fan, because like that's the future of the company. It's gonna be more of that kind of stuff. Like, I mean,
shameless plugs.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, it's just a different world. Like, if the Undertaker would have done this in like the '90s, it would have totally killed his entire career.
That would have been so cool. Like, if they would have done that with, like, Nickelodeon, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Well, that's true. I mean, like, as a kid, that would have been cool to see. Like I've talked about before, like, if like, you know, Sting teamed up with the Ninja Turtles or something, or the Power Rangers on TV, like, I would have lost it. But the adult fans would have been like, okay, like, the Undertaker's not cool anymore. Like, I'm not like, what I thought the Undertaker, like, they'd be breaking kayfabe so badly.
Yeah, that's true.
It would have just confused everybody, probably. But regardless, the point is, I guess, all I know about the WWE currently is that Chucky's involved. And do you have anything that you can speak to on this King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring tournament? Because, once again, I haven't seen any of it. I've heard negatives about the Queen of the Ring stuff just because of them not getting any time. Has it been any better for the men? Is that looking promising? Like, who do you think's going to win?
Well, Xavier Woods better win, for one. His match with Ricochet was really, really good.
Okay.
So that was really cool. And then Kofi had a match against Jinder Mahal, but I'm pretty sure he lost. So there's no Kofi versus Xavier happening. Some shenanigans happened. And I really liked the Xavier Woods Ricochet match. I thought that was really good. But like, as far as like the women, like, they're just, I don't know if it's because they're going to Saudi Arabia and they have to like downplay women. I don't know, I shouldn't say that.
No, I know, but like, that's, I get what you're saying, but yeah, that'd be moronic for them to do. Like,
yeah, but it's like, they're not, I feel like it's history being made. You're basically, you know, this should be technically on par with like the first ever main event of WrestleMania, or like the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match. Like, all these things like were firsts for women, the first ever women's pay-per-view. It's like the first ever Queen of the Ring tournament. You should be making a bigger deal out of it than just casually mentioning it and giving the women like 5 minutes, like, total for all the matches. And I understand about equality and we want equal and all that, but when you have like a roster like that where it's more men than women, I get it. But then at the same time, you're just like, you're completely downplaying it, and you're watering down your own tournament, essentially. You're making me not care about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. On a 3-hour long show,
yeah,
I don't know how you can only allocate 8 minutes total to the women. Like, for a tournament like this especially. So
it's like, Matt Riddle is hilarious, but he doesn't need to say like 15,000 jokes, okay?
Did he take up like the whole show?
No, he kept going on and on and on. It was funny. I mean, it was funny. But
yeah.
like the whole time they're like, he's stalling, and it's like, with all this stalling, we could have had another women's match, damn it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what. There is no better way to get me to not go back to watching WWE than having Jinder Mahal win the King of the Ring. That is like,
oh God, they better not.
That's a clear, like, we don't want you back as a fan, Steven. Like, just stay away.
Yeah, just go, bro.
That guy sucks. I'm sorry. Like, people can, I know that he has fans, and it's not even about him personally, obviously, but like, I can't get over, like, he was the worst WWE champion ever, and they just keep trying to make him a thing, and it's like, he just isn't good. Like, if you push that Shanky guy, if you want, I mean, that guy's like 7 feet tall. I mean, he got a stupid name. I shouldn't say. I don't know if that's like a traditional name somewhere.
I looked it up. Anybody. It is. It's okay. Like a traditional nickname. I know. I thought it was like a shank, like a.
Same. Yeah, I thought it was like meant to sound silly, but I apologize if that's like I mean, I just don't know. But
I know I looked it up before I talked any shit because I was like, I better educate myself.
Well, I'm sorry if I offended anyone by saying that. I didn't mean to, but I
It
never heard that name
silly in
before.
English.
Well, it's like you're a wrestler. It's like it almost sounds like you're trying like. When I hear that name, like I'm sorry, but I think about shanking somebody, like pulling their
like
pants
a
down.
prison shank.
No, like pulling their pants down.
Oh,
Like I'm shanking you. Like
I've never heard that.
Oh, you've never heard it called that? Yeah, like
No.
pantsing someone is also called shaking someone. Yeah.
I thought it was when you stabbed
that is
prison
too.
named
No,
Maggie.
that is. That's like the way more serious use for the term. But that's why it gets me so much is because I'm like shanky. Like, is this gonna be about to just like pull someone's pants down in the middle of the match? Like that's like
Oh
that's.
my god! I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
At least that's what we called it when we were kids. I don't know if maybe we were like misusing the term.
It's a Georgia thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's possible. But I mean, at least the dude's like 7 feet tall. But I don't know. That's really all I can really speak to the WWE. I hope. I mean, I guess I hope Xavier wins because I do like him, and
He's wanted it forever.
yeah, I've seen him like lobbying for it on Twitter and stuff like forever. So, I mean, but knowing the WWE, what they'll do is they'll have him make
Finn
it.
Balor win it.
They'll have him make it all the way to the finals, and Jinder will beat Woods. I mean, yeah, I mean Finn Balor would be a good choice. Did he? I think he beat Cesaro from what I saw.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that should have been the finals of the tournament probably, but
Right.
regardless, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I'm gonna continue to not watch, and hey, maybe they'll do something that gets me pulled back in. When you've got stuff going on where like I'm watching wrestling every day of the week except for I still watch Monday nights for like AEW, but
Yeah.
it's wild. I mean, the options are just overwhelming at this point. Like, I mean, it's impossible for me to go from a weekend of GCW to watching Raw. Like, it's just so night and day, two completely different things.
Yeah.
So, did you watched GCW on Saturday, didn't you?
I watched a little bit. I watched the highlights. I was watching. There was a very, very good football game on
Oh, okay.
that could not get me away because Alabama lost. So holla. But yeah, I did see, and it looked freaking. I mean, GCW. Let's be real. GCW is it right now. That's like the hot promotion, other than AEW. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for them. Like they are just absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna do Hammerstein.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, the video package was great.
It was great. It was beautiful.
It was like, yeah, the wrestlers. For anyone who missed it, like they did this reveal for Hammerstein Ballroom for January, and it showed like a handful of GCW talents and like up close on their faces, and them kind of looking around at the Hammerstein Ballroom from the inside, and then like saying things that that have been said to them like probably over and over again throughout their careers. And then pretty much just giving him the middle finger, like Effie's on there, and he's like,
I loved it.
yeah, he's like, you should tone it down a bit. You're a little too gay. And it's like, he probably hears that every single
Oh my God,
day of his life. AJ Gray says, he's like, why don't you just shut the F up? Why don't you know what I mean? Like, because he's always on Twitter, just like speaking his mind.
Retweeting his name.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, all that stuff was really. I mean, it was really. I'd say Raw, which is so ironic because like
Yeah.
Raw isn't Raw anymore, but like in the same sense of the word. But it was just a very real video package, and hearing what they were saying was like Alex Cologne's like, you got to do death matches. It's the only way to stay over, and like it's like shows his back, and it's just all scars.
Oh, I know.
It's like,
It's gnarly.
so. I thought that was incredible. I thought the show was great. The whole weekend was great. They had a show on Saturday night, a show on Sunday night. They also had JCW, which is like their sister promotion. They had a free show on YouTube on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, it was just like this big GCW weekend. Then you also had AEW on Friday with Rampage, and then this week, right? There's no Dynamite tomorrow, but we have Rampage Friday and Dynamite Saturday.
Oh, that's right. There is no Dynamite tomorrow. Damn it.
Yeah.
It's on Saturday.
And then I think it's that way the following week too. I think. I could be wrong, but I think they might. because I know I'm doing the Bound for Glory post show for Fightful with Jeremy, and that's next weekend, not this weekend. And I think we might be doing an AEW review also. So that would have.
Oh.
I'm thinking Dynamite might be on Saturday night also.
Well, I know the Saturday one's in Orlando.
Okay. So yeah, and I think Rampage is live on Friday because it's going head to head with the last half hour of SmackDown. Cause
I know,
because
it's going to be on FS1.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting seeing because you know that WWE is going to try to have something really important on for that last half hour.
You'll see how much they think of AEW by what they put on that last half hour.
Yeah, I guarantee you it involves Roman Reigns.
And Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, good call, probably, yeah.
Because they said he's going to be on.
So, and then if I'm AEW, like, I heard Brian Alvarez talking about this yesterday, and he makes a good point, and I agree. Like, they shouldn't hotshot AEW shouldn't hotshot anything, like, specifically for this. Like, don't take, like, a long-term story that you've been building. And, yeah, I mean, you still want to stack something for that first half hour. Like, you want people to jump over. But don't do it at the expense of, like, if you have a plan for, like, a story that's meant to play out, you know, a couple months from now, don't just do it to, you know, this weekend just for the sake of competing against SmackDown. Like, still stay the course, but just put on some... Because the other thing is, we already know, based on how Dynamite has gone so far, they usually have the biggest match first anyways. On Rampage. They usually have the biggest match first on Rampage. So... They really don't have to do anything that they haven't already been doing. Just put on a
Which
really
I appreciate as a very tired person.
watch the opening match and then go to sleep.
Well, I mean, I try to stay awake, but sometimes I can't because I'm up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's a very different schedule than I'm on, for sure.
It's not by choice.
No, I understand. Yeah, for sure. I'm usually going to sleep not long before you're probably waking up.
Yeah.
But... it is what it is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I think that SmackDown will probably try to put on a really good show, so that's exciting for WWE fans. I think Rampage is gonna do what they do, and they're gonna put on a really solid Rampage, and then we got Dynamite on Saturday, so there's probably gonna be some kind of overlap between the two, some stories that kind of run through both, and I mean there's. George Hook says AEW needs to bring in Bray for that half hour. I mean, if he's available, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, when's his 90-day up? Should be up anytime now.
It's got to be soon if it hasn't already happened. I've been seeing stuff about like Impact Wrestling like approaching him and stuff, and it sounds like he's not gonna go to Impact.
Oh, okay.
At least from the little bit that I've heard about it. But I think Impact is gonna get Braun Strowman. I think that they're gonna throw him a ton of money.
Well, they got the inspiration now.
Yeah, I saw that. Good for them.
Good for them. I think that's a perfect fit.
Well, that was another thing from this weekend. There was the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Knockdown on Impact Plus, and that was where the inspiration was announced. Denise Salcedo and Kate Hensler did a review of that, by the way, if anyone wants to watch that over on Fightful. But so yeah, you had that. You also had, me, Sean Ross Sapp, and Doug did a watch along for Fury versus Wilder 3. That was on Saturday also.
Did?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we had really good viewership for some of those fight nights, which is nice. Like, so those are always fun to do. So there was so much this weekend. I mean, there's stuff I'm not even mentioned. There was a UFC show this weekend. There was, like, on Saturday alone, I'm looking at my calendar right now. On Saturday alone, there was Jersey Championship Wrestling on YouTube, GCW on Fight TV, Impact Knockouts Knockdown on Impact Plus, UFC on ESPN Plus, and Fury versus Wilder on pay-per-view. Like, that was all one day this weekend.
I know, that's wild.
I know, but those are the kind of days I live for. Like, those are like,
yeah,
I love that stuff. But yeah, so all that kind of out of the way, I would say, I want to ask you, how do you feel about Hangman Adam Page? He's back. He won the casino chip for number 1 contender. Do you do that match at Full Gear, or do you still do Kenny and Danielson at Full Gear for the belt, and then like Hangman cashes in at Revolution or on like a big Dynamite or something? Oh,
that's how it works. He cashes it in.
I think they're gonna. I don't think it's like a like a
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think he probably has to like they'll promote the day he's gonna actually like what I'm assuming they're gonna do. It won't be like a sneak attack thing. It'll be like hey, at Revolution or whatever, and they'll announce it like 2 months in advance or whatever. They'll be like Revolution. That's where the chip comes into play or something. I don't know exactly how they'll do it, but I doubt it'll be like a Kenny retains over Bryan Danielson and then Hangman just like runs in and hits him in the back and pins him or something.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Because I know there's a lot of the fan base that wants them to just do this at Full Gear, which I'd be fine with if they want to. But there's still there's still the unfinished business with Danielson and Omega too, though.
Exactly. And like you said, I would be okay with that and I would get it. But like you said, I think there's unfinished business with Bryan Danielson. I feel like that, and I mean, they could leave it a loose end and go ahead with Hangman Page. I mean, they could do that. But I feel like they've given Hangman and Kenny, like that whole story, such a long, really great, beautiful story that's all been building to this. I feel like you need to build on that a little bit more, finish the stuff with Bryan Danielson, and move on to a full-fledged feud between Kenny and Hangman. Because if it's, and it seems to me to be the right choice for Hangman Page to dethrone Kenny Omega as the AEW champion.
Yeah, I agree.
That deserves, a story arc, like a true, beautiful story arc. And I mean, it deserves kind of like a reminder. I mean, quote unquote, true AEW fans know the whole story, but AEW is pulling in a lot more viewers than they were, a few months ago. Some new viewers may have questions as to what's been going on, what happened. I mean, not everybody's been watching since the beginning. And I don't know, I just feel like they need to build up to it a little bit more. It doesn't feel complete yet.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, this is a good way to get the foot back into the door as far as, like, Hangman is number one contender, like, right now, undeniably. But he did it through winning this ladder match. So it wasn't like he came back and then, like, beat all these ranked wrestlers again and then got number one contender. Like, he did it in one match. And it's almost like it just so happens that Kenny Omega is the champion. So I get what you're saying is, like, if you let it play out just a little, it's already played out for a long time, but if you let it play out a little bit longer, there's also the tie-in there with Hangman and Kenny versus the Young Bucks from Revolution a couple years ago, when they were both the champions. That event kind of is like synonymous with the two of them together. So, I think, once again, would I be upset if Hangman dethroned Kenny at Full Gear? No, definitely not. But I feel like they could stretch it to Revolution and it would be even better. And then they also have this number one contender tournament starting soon in AEW. So
yeah, I
don't know who's going to win that. Maybe Danielson wins that, and that's how he gets back into a title shot.
Good. Yeah.
I could see that. I could see Miro going far in that as well. Now that he's not the TNT champion, they're gonna want to. If AEW was smart, they'd continue to push him pretty heavily because he did a really good job with the TNT title.
Yes, he did.
Especially if they're going to bring in Lana. Like, have them do it now and have her... Once again, I don't think a lot of us really care to see her wrestle, but, like, her as a mouthpiece and manager for Rusev, or Miro, especially when if he was cutting those same promos, like, funny / badass that would be, for her to be right next to him while he's like, I like my God up high and my wife down low, and she's just like nodding. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like just super alpha male. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. So we had that, and then we also had the debut of the TBS Championship. That's which
looks great.
It does, and it's gonna be a women's championship belt. Now I'll say this. I don't know if AEW's women's... I mean, their women's division is actually pretty damn good right now. Like yeah. It is a much different scenario than even 6 months or a year ago, where they were still really building the division. They still are in a lot of ways, but like they've done a good... I've said it 1,000 times. They needed the time to do this though, because like they didn't just have the luxury of having like a Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, like Asuka, like level. of popularity woman on their roster. So like they had to organically build Britt Baker and Chris Statlander and Nyla Rose and Riho and Shida and like a lot of wrestlers that weren't that familiar to the U.S. audience. Like, so they're at a point now where things are looking good, but I don't know if it's deep enough that you would need a second title. But I will say this: if they put the title on Jade Cargill, I think that would be a really, really good move. So what do you think about the title? I want to see either Cargill or Statlander as the TBS champion. Who would you want to see?
I think you can't go wrong.
And what do you think about the idea of this second women's championship and it being the TBS title?
Honestly, I think it's a good idea for the women's division because you don't really want to play hot potato with your title, but you want to get a bunch of women over. And AEW is really good at doing that, but it's hard when you have, your AEW women's champion, Britt Baker, and you're kind of stuck in this storyline hole of, well, no one can really beat her because she's so over right now. So you're stuck in this limbo with the other women. And when you're a new promotion and you're trying to get these people organically over, it's organically difficult. It's naturally difficult to do so without something on the line. And so I feel like by having another title and putting that on the line and creating that, you can build up this, not secondary women's division, but you can build up literally everybody around Britt Baker. And then, it naturally carries from there. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Yeah, yes, they agree. I'd like to see also, I've always liked the idea of what Impact Wrestling does with the X Division title with Option C, where it used to be once a year on the same pay-per-view, Destination X. It used to be like whoever the X Division champion is on that by the time that pay-per-view comes around, you have the option to turn in the X Division title for a shot at the world title. And I'd like to see that.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they currently do it in Impact still. Like that's like the next big title match for Impact is Josh Alexander versus Chris Cage, and Alexander he just turned in his X Division title, and he's going to be going for the world title at the next pay per view at Bound for Glory. But now the rules have been kind of bent a little bit the way Impact does it because it's like. It used to be like reserved for a specific pay-per-view, but regardless, like in theory, I really like the idea of, if you're the TBS champion, for instance, if you're, Jade or Statlander or whoever winds up with that belt, like maybe it's, once or twice a year, like I like the idea of having like a pay-per-view picked out for it because that way it incentivizes reasons for you to be like defending the title throughout the year. Because otherwise you would just win the TBS title and just hand it over and be like, I want the world title,
Right. That's true.
so if you were like, if it was like, every year at, we'll just pick a show at Full Gear or whatever, every year. I mean, this wouldn't be a good example because this title's going to be so new. Let's say Double or Nothing. Like Double or Nothing next year, there's a thing where whoever the TBS champion is at Full Gear or at Double or Nothing next year, they're allowed to cash in or turn in their TBS championship. So that way, like throughout the year, people want to win that title from Jade or whoever, and they have to continue to defend it because by the time that pay-per-view comes around, like that's when it really, really matters to have that belt because you can hand it over, get a world title shot. So essentially what it's doing is it's legitimizing the title. And it's showing that whoever has this belt is the number one contender. Like this is the top woman outside of the world champion. So
right.
So I'd like to see something like that. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but like the real reason I bring all this up is because they just definitely they need to make a level of credibility for that. And they will do it. Like the TNT title is almost on the same level as the world title in AEW. Like they've done a great job.
Yeah, it really is.
So I have all the faith in the world that they'll do a great job with this. But they just have to figure ways of like making the TBS championship valuable as fast as possible because once again, like, but I keep kind of thinking about it and it's like, I mean, you got like Tay Conti who's like really, or Ty Conti who's like really good. And
they have a lot of options.
Yeah, there's a lot of women on that roster right now that actually like a lot of good options for the TBS title. So yeah, I mean, and I'll say this, I think it's better than adding women's tag titles. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because that always seems to become a mess.
it just becomes a mess because you don't have enough women to actually have legitimate tag teams.
Yeah.
And you just create, then you have to create these like random storylines to get people in a tag team together, and it gets messy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Impact's done a decent job with it, but their problem is they lose talent too often.
Yeah.
They're they'll have like a good team like Fire and Flava, but then like one will leave, and then it's like, well, gotta either form a new tag team or whatever. So yeah, TBS title. Sounds like we're both looking forward to that. Anyone wants, if you want your voices heard, by the way, I mentioned once again, super chats and donations. We'll make sure to put those up on the screen. We'll make sure to read them out. Everyone hearing this on the audio version tomorrow on the Fight Talk podcast feed. It'll be tomorrow or the following day. Everyone will still hear your questions, the answers, and your statements and all that. Super chats go right through YouTube. Donation link is in the description. So the TBS title, but that'll wind. I mean. So, like, if we had to take a guess, I'm going to guess Jade. If you had to pick one person, who do you think is going to win that title first?
I want to say Thunder Rosa, but I feel like she's the one who's going to, like, dethrone Britt Baker eventually.
Yeah, that's very possible given their history.
So, I agree with you about Jade. I think she's the right move, honestly. As long as they can book it right, or her or Chris Statlander.
Yeah, I totally agree. The thing with Jade is, like, she's still pretty green, but
she's very green. That's the only problem.
But you can kind of work with that if you're the TBS champion, because there isn't really like a super high expectation yet with like that title. Like, and if she can grow along with that title, like, it's kind of strange because normally. The way that normally it's looked at as either, and there's different scenarios depending on different people and circumstance and stuff, but like sometimes the belt makes the wrestler and sometimes the wrestler makes the belt, like,
right.
And for Jade it really could be both at the same time, because Jade's kind of still like an unmolded like ball of clay to a degree. And if you put her in that unmolded ball of clay, which is, it looks like I'm holding two balls in my hand. If you put those together, it's like kind of green championship, green wrestler, and then they both grow together.
Let's watch them evolve.
Yeah, that could be interesting. And they clearly have big plans for Jade, and she has a great presence about her. I mean, you see her.
She really does. I love her.
She's the kind of girl, like, if you saw her just, like, at the supermarket, you'd be like, she's someone. Like, you wouldn't, even if you don't watch wrestling, you would know she's, like...
You would say she looks important.
Yeah, exactly. She looks like an athlete. I mean, she just looks like she can kick ass. I mean... She
looks like someone you do not want to mess with.
I agree. I totally agree.
She's like a child psychologist in real life, and it's like, oh my god, I'd be scared to tell her my problems.
I like what I've seen so far from her, though. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
She's having to learn on the spot in front of everybody. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
No, can you imagine?
Well, that's what WWE is so afraid of. That's why they hide everyone in the PC and on NXT and stuff in 205 Live, is because like they're afraid of somebody learning on the job in front of the fans. But like,
well, look at Britt Baker. That's like the best way to learn.
Yeah, there's a lot of good examples in AEW of them taking people that had no TV experience and you put them on. Hell, Nick Gage had never been on live television before.
Yeah.
He's been around 20 years or whatever, but like, his match with Jericho is the first time he ever had to consider like what cameras
where the camera is and all that.
Yeah. So, but that obviously different circumstance. Nick Gage's been in the game for 2 decades, and like Jade started like a couple years ago. But the point is, it's doable. Like sometimes you got to just like really bet on your talent that you've invested in, and so what if they screw up a few times out there? Like, who cares if it's not anything super major? Like, that's how you learn stuff, and that's how you learn how to not make mistakes. Sometimes you got to make mistakes to learn. But yeah, there was another. Oh yeah, and also I want to throw out there, I love the Serena Deeb heel turn.
Yes.
she beat Sheeta and then hit her in the head with that trophy that Sheeta was supposed to
So
get.
great.
And I say this a lot, and I really mean it. You know, if gun to my head, if someone was like, "Who is your favorite female wrestler in the world right now?" The two names that I'd have to really debate in my head before I blurt it out are Charlotte Flair and Serena Deeb. Those are and they're two very different wrestlers on two very different shows. But in the ring, I think Serena Deeb is the best female alive right now, and you can make the argument for like Thunder Rosa and stuff too. Like obviously, like that's just personal preference. I love all these women, by the way, but like Serena's been overlooked and underappreciated for so long, and she is so damn good. Like and I don't know what her status is with the National Wrestling Alliance. I don't know if that's prevented anything because like similar to Thunder Rosa, like Thunder Rosa's actually signed to AEW now, but for the first, year or whatever she was with the company, she was actually with the NWA, and they were like loaning her over. I don't know what Serena Deeb's status is, but if they have access to her long term, they need to push her big time. Like, and now that she's a heel, I don't know if you can do her and Britt right away, but like Serena should. If Serena's not in the world title mix, she needs to be the TBS champion. Like she's so next level with what the woman of 1,000 holds thing. That's Malenko's gimmick. But it's like perfect for her. Like it
is. It works great.
I wish, I think it'd be badass if they had Dean Malenko out there managing her sometimes.
Ooh, that would be cool.
The only reservation, unfortunately, is Malenko's dealing with Parkinson's real bad.
Yeah.
You see him and he's shaking, and I obviously that's near and dear to me and my family and stuff, and what my brother does for work and everything. Like I'm very, very aware of those types of neurological diseases, and if Malenko's like down to do it, then hell yeah, go out there and do it. But I also know sometimes it's kind of hard. Like just for what it's worth for people who don't know, sometimes that stuff gets worse when you have if you're kind of stressed or people are watching, it's like you're kind of more likely to kind of be dealing with it when there's like a million people looking at you. It kind of like triggers it more, unfortunately. And the reason I bring all this up, I would never want Dean Malenko to like suffer for the expense of like coming out and just because I want to see him. But like if he's feeling it, like he wants to do it, him with Serena would be incredible. So, I have so much respect for Dean Malenko. Oh my gosh,
George, I'm so sorry.
What happened with
You said my dad died of Parkinson's last week.
I did. Oh, that just came through. I just saw it. I'm very sorry to see that, George. It's a shitty disease, and it's terrible that anyone ever has to deal with that.
So sorry, George.
But I know Malenko's been dealing with it for a while. And I know he's in the Atlanta, Georgia area a bit. I've tried to link my brother with him. But he's never. I don't know if my brother never reached out or what. But like, if anyone hears this or whatever, like, I think my brother could help him at least a little bit because he has so much experience with that, and specifically workouts that can potentially help with those kind of things. But regardless, I got multiple Dean Malenko action figures over here on this wall. Like I got a Dean Malenko autograph right over here. Like I love Dean Malenko. So, but anyway, it's very, very cool that he has handed over his gimmick to Serena. Well, that's a huge sign of respect for like Malenko to do that. I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
So, and then Deshaun Turner, thank you very much for the super chat. Says Jade looks like she can push and fix my car. Dude, that's true. Like
that popped me. That's hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah, she would have a way better chance. Like if my car broke down, I would trust her before me for sure to be able to do those things.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, sorry, George, man. That's I don't really know what to say other than like. I mean, you're always welcome here to hang out. Hopefully this kind of stuff takes your mind off it. Obviously, that's tough when I bring up stuff that's, hits close to home. But yeah, I mean, obviously
you've lost a parent, so it's you.
Oh, yeah. To disease like that, I mean, it's...
I have no control over.
Yeah, and you just watch,
I can't imagine.
There's nothing
y'all.
sadder than watching somebody just like deteriorate in front of your eyes over time. Like it's tough. I had to watch it with my mom, my grandma, and my aunt,
God.
all three of them with breast cancer. I mean,
God.
I mean, that's why I'm terrified. If I ever have kids, if I have a daughter, like I don't know, like it's almost like where like I would have to make sure I didn't have a daughter, almost like because
No, they can actually I have 23andMe and it detects that gene if you have that gene or not.
okay. Well,
So that I don't have it, but if you have that gene, then you have to be like more aware and stuff like that. And I'm sure they all had that gene.
Yeah, just the idea just terrifies me because like every woman in my life that's been close to me has died of breast cancer. It's wild.
Oh my goodness.
But that said, George, you know we can sympathize to a degree. Like not that it makes it any easier, but like there are people out there that understand kind of what you're going through, and I'm one of them. So always feel safe in here, and that you can say whatever you feel, and I'm never gonna judge you or anything. I know it's just
me either. I will never judge.
It's just shitty. My brother basically he has what's called dystonia, but it's basically Parkinson's. And that's why he's had 2 brain surgeries to correct it, and like luckily the surgeries worked, and he's doing like incredible. But like he was super young and was dealing with those symptoms when he was like 11 years old. He basically like was crippled for a while. Like I mean, I was making plans essentially when I was going to finish college. I was expecting to spend the rest of my life caring for my brother. Like that was like what I thought I was going to be doing for. Like, I thought I was going to graduate, and I was going to move home, and I was going to just take care of my brother. And then somehow this next level technology worked, So it's like, So once again, I understand where a lot of people are coming from when it comes to this stuff. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so. Unfortunately, but you know what? It builds a stronger community, and I think that it makes people closer together, and it helps people move on. And I think that that's important.
And it gives you a very different perspective on life.
Absolutely.
Like, a total different appreciation for, like, when you're having good days and stuff, where it's, like, really appreciating that. Because you know how shitty it can get. You know what I mean? So, like...
Oh, for sure.
So that all said, we appreciate everyone in the chat. We appreciate your super chats, obviously. We appreciate you being open with us, George. We know you're a big supporter. You're in here like every single time we do a chat. I even saw you in here because we missed the show this week because we weren't able to do it earlier, and I saw you in the chat like, where's the show at? So like, I know you look forward to this stuff, which we really appreciate. So
yeah, sorry, my stomach decided to cancel me. So.
Right. We got a few more minutes here. I guess I'll throw this out there real quick. Shout out to Bobby Fish, All Elite, got the graphic.
Yes.
Pretty cool to see, considering he was kind of like the odd man out in Undisputed Era, and now he's All Elite. He's in a better position than Roddy Strong and Kyle O'Reilly are right now, probably.
That's right. Poor Kyle O'Reilly. I was gonna say.
Both of those guys are. I mean, they're both so. O'Reilly and Strong are both so damn good, but at least they're doing something with Roddy with the Diamond Mine, even though I think the Diamond Mine's kind of lame, but like Malcolm Bivens is awesome. So
Malcolm Bivens rules.
So at least they have Bivens out there to talk for Roddy, because I think that benefits both guys. But cool Kyle, I have no idea what they're doing with that at this point. I can only imagine he's counting down the days until he can sign with AEW.
Right.
But... So it was cool to see Bobby Fish. What do you think we get first? Do you think we get Adam Cole attacking Bobby Fish, or do you think maybe Bobby Fish joins the Elite at some point?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because, I mean, it's kind of the elephant in the room with them both being in the same company now.
Yeah, how do they address that? I guess they just, you know what, AEW just won't fuck around. They'll just kind of like go for it. I say Adam Cole attacks Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
Or no, I don't want them to do that, where Adam Cole gets mad because he finds out he's not what happened with Kenny, and he leaves the Elite and then just goes and joins Bobby Fish. They could do that, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the good thing is there's a lot of options, and AEW is so good about like not what's the right term? They're not insulting our intelligence, like, because most of the AEW fan base is going to be aware of the background with Fish and O'Reilly from NXT and stuff. I'm assuming, I know this is a big assumption, but like, I mean, obviously at some point, Adam Cole's going to realize that Kenny Omega was behind poisoning him and all this stuff. Like, it's going to happen eventually. And when it does, I'm hoping Adam Cole and the Young Bucks stay together and Kevin Steen comes over in January.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the super click. Like, that's the new group with those guys. Kenny can disappear for a little while and then come back as a babyface. Maybe bring Kota Ibushi with him. And, like, that would be sick. If you had, like, Omega and Ibushi versus the super click. Because you can still also have, like, Gallows and Anderson with Kenny if you wanted and stuff. Like, you can... So... Or, you know, Bobby Fish can join with Adam Cole and those guys. Or, hell, for all we know, the entire Undisputed Era might be in AEW 6 months from now or something. I mean, I don't know.
Can you imagine? That would be crazy.
How wild would that be? But... Yeah, a lot of good options. So yeah, it was cool to see Bobby Fish. Like, he came in, he had the match. He was with MLW. But what a lot of these wrestlers have been really smart about this past, you know, handful of months is most of the wrestlers that are highlighted in Major League Wrestling, most of them are doing it without a contract. So it keeps them open to really doing whatever they want. Like, Lee Moriarty is another good example. He's with MLW, but he wasn't signed. But now he is signed to AEW. So now he's not doing anything else with MLW going forward. But he was able to at least be on that platform before he had his chance.
It's a good olive branch.
Yeah, and it's a good... I mean, there are people that are signed to MLW too, like that actually have contracts. But, you know... I hate to say it because I don't know who all will hear this or take it the wrong way or whatever, but like the one downside is I've heard the pay for MLW for most of them just isn't good pay. So I think that's a big part of it is like they like the exposure that they get through MLW, but like they're not making a lot of money. And that's, you know, on one hand, it's the trade-off, right? Like paying your dues,
the exposure trade-off.
Exactly, getting the exposure and all that stuff. But also at a certain point, when you're at like a certain level, it's like, well, I'm doing this for the exposure, I guess, at this point. But like, the second I get like an actual offer for real money, then I'm going to take it, you know? So, that's not everybody, by the way. I'm sure there are people in MLW getting paid decently, but the little bit I've heard behind the scenes is like, it just doesn't sound like they make a lot. Most of them are making a lot with MLW, unfortunately. So, and that's not me putting blame on like Court Bauer or anybody in the company or whatever. I mean, they got to do whatever they can afford to do at the end of the day. Like, I don't know what their financials look like for the company and stuff. And I have no idea. They're probably doing the best they can to do right by their talent. But you see a lot of turnover with MLW. A lot of people coming and going, and I think that's a lot to do with it. Because I think if they were getting paid good money, like, that's a great situation because you can still work a lot of the independents and you're still getting exposure on YouTube and Vice TV. And you only have to wrestle for that company like a handful of times a month. Even if that, like, a lot of their stuff is like all taped all at once. So you have like your whole month free pretty much after you work for them. So there's a lot of advantages to working with MLW, similar to Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling just pays more. But it's the same kind of idea. It's like you can still work a lot of indies. You only have to work a couple days a month, you know, and all that stuff. So yeah, was there anything else from AEW or anything else in the world of wrestling you wanted to throw out there before we got out of here, Jessi?
No, I don't think so. I'm just having fun, enjoying AEW a lot. So
yeah.
Good time to be a wrestling fan.
I'll say this. I thought CM Punk and Daniel Garcia was really damn good on Rampage.
That was really good. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, Daniel Garcia had a big weekend. On Friday, that was obviously pre-taped, him and Punk. But that same night live, he wrestled on IWTV. I can't remember if it was I think it was the No Leaf Clover show on IWTV.
Oh, yeah.
He wrestled Minoru Suzuki that
What?
same night. Yeah, I think it was
nice.
It had to
CM Punk and Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, it was,
holy cow!
It was sick.
What a legend!
And he was like trying to grapple with Suzuki. It was pretty funny to see because Suzuki's like, you're not gonna submit Minoru Suzuki. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
I know wrestling's predetermined, but like that's a big part of like his whole draw is like his MMA background. I mean, the guy founded Pancrase, which is like the first MMA organization ever. Like, I mean, so anyways, he was the second ever king of Pancrase. Like the Minoru Suzuki is as legitimate as you're gonna get in professional wrestling, and but it was cool because like Garcia was trying to like throw leg locks on him and stuff, and like Suzuki was countering everything, but it was like, damn, Daniel Garcia is actually like he's trying to do something. And on the match with Punk, I thought it was cool because on one hand, I don't like them leaning into Punk's MMA background because he was so bad in the UFC, but like but it was cool, like psychology wise, that CM Punk tapped Garcia with the Anaconda Vice because Garcia is like that, like he's like the technical guy right now for AEW, one of the like technical based guys. So it's like Punk proved the point of like, I submitted this guy, you know. So there was a lot of layers to that match, I thought. And he didn't use the GTS, he used a pile driver, but then right into an Anaconda Vice, which I thought was awesome. So yeah, good stuff. Really good stuff in AEW. Can't speak really much to the WWE, but really, I mean, great stuff for GCW. MLW's battle.
Fantastic stuff for GCW.
Yeah, it ruled. MLW's Fightland was last week as well. New champion Alexander Hammerstone, if anyone missed it. Jacob Fatu had the title for like at least 2 years, maybe longer.
He was forever.
So, you know, good to see that. We've got Davey Richards versus Calvin Tankman coming up in the finals of the Opera Cup to crown number one contender. So we're either going to get Davey Richards versus Hammerstone or Tankman versus Hammerstone soon, which both of those matches are going to rule. I'm going to answer this real quick before we get out of here. Ian Mitchell 86 says, my question, why does AEW announce a world title tournament when we all know who's going to be the main event of Full Gear? I think that's once again, I think with AEW, it's okay that they're predictable a lot of the time because their stories make sense and their matches are awesome. So, what do you think the main event of Full Gear is, though, Ian? Because are you assuming it's Hangman versus Kenny? Because I think a lot of people are assuming it's Danielson versus Kenny, and if it's going to be Danielson versus Kenny, then Danielson winning the tournament makes a lot of sense because he has to go through the rankings now to get a title shot in a rematch against Kenny, and he can do all of that, you know, get two birds stoned at once. You can have him win a tournament, get number one contender, and beat top-ranked guys all at one time to accomplish that. And then we get Hangman versus Kenny for the title, assuming he retains at Revolution. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. If Danielson's in that tournament, I think Danielson needs to win it, unless Punk wins it. I'm not as big of a fan of Punk winning it as Danielson. Yeah. But I think Punk's been really great so far about only working with like younger talent, but he's talking about it in interviews, like he's kind of trying to like earn his way back into a title level guy. And you could do that if you won a tournament like this. And Hangman,
sorry, my babies.
Oh, you're good. Well, we had to wrap up the show soon anyway. So, thanks to everyone who listened and watched. We appreciate you. If you have any last-second super chats, I'm going to run through our sponsors just really quick. Starting with Music City Toys and Collectibles. They are the place to be for wrestling action figures and memorabilia, 8x10s, autographs, all that stuff. Make sure to follow them on all social media at Music City Toys and check out their website, musiccitytoys.biz. They also do sales on their Facebook page, so check those out. It's a lot of fun to jump on there during the live sales. Shout out to my brother, Brian Jensen. He is a trainer at Steel Boxing and Athletics. He's an owner at Steel Boxing and Athletics. He can meet you in Atlanta, Georgia, really anywhere you're at. If you're anywhere else in the world, he can help you remotely.
Did their building get fixed?
No, he's having to use his buddies' places. Luckily, he's got some good relationships around the city to where he can use other buildings right now. But like, yeah, his next door neighbors and like the complex that they work out of, their roof caved in, and it sucks because it didn't affect my brother's building at all. But because it's right next to it, they are not allowed in because while they're fixing the other place. So, but yes, but anyway, he's still out there meeting people. He does have other places that other gyms to use. So if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area or anywhere else, just hit him up on Instagram at BoxingATL, BoxingATL. That's the best way to get in touch with him to book sessions, whether it's in person or through Skype and Zoom calls. He can help you from anything from losing weight and self-defense all the way through neurological things that we talked about today, Parkinson's, MS, dystonia, all that stuff. You'd be surprised how many dexterity exercises there are you can do as kind of simple as stuff where moving your fingers around and stretching in certain ways and stuff that doesn't. There are ways to try to combat these illnesses and stuff that you might not have thought of or maybe haven't been shown to you before, but like there are ways to maybe help this stuff. And Brian's certified 100% in training for these things. So like, and he's gone through this kind of stuff himself. That's why he's so credible. He understands the idea of like involuntary muscle movement because he's had to deal with it himself. So like, so hit him up, BoxingATL on Instagram. Also, shout out to WrestleRumble.com. Their next contest is actually going to be for Full Gear. Pretty badass.
Heck yeah.
They're going to have $1,200 on the line for AEW Full Gear. And the contest isn't open yet, but it will be soon. So just stay up to date for all their contests and giveaways at WrestleRumble.com, through social media at WrestleRumble. Also, use my promo code FightTalk at IndependentWrestling.tv or IWTV.live. It helps me out a lot too. Follow me on Twitter at FightTalk _, FIGHTTALK _ Jessi, tell the people where to find you at.
Heck yeah. Well, you can find me obviously on YouTube here. The best way to support me and Steven is to subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Share with your friends. Subscribe. And obviously you can follow me on Twitter at Jessi the Buckeye. I added a tip jar. Is a tip jar there?
Yeah. I know you added it. I have one too. Is it showing up on mine on mobile? Maybe.
Let me see. You gotta add it. You gotta.
No, I did. I know it shows up on desktop. Or sorry, on mobile.
Let me see. Hold on.
Let me go here. If I go here.
No, I don't see it. Wait, hold on. No, I don't see it on desktop.
Yeah, not on desktop. But if you go on mobile, I can see it on yours and on mine. That's weird.
Oh, okay.
So people can do it mobilely, I guess, but not. But yeah, good. Thank you for bringing that up. Me and Jessi both have tip jars on our Twitters if you use your mobile devices. So like, if there's any time you want to support the show, by no means never feel like you have to. But if you know you're gonna miss a show live, what you can do for me at least for sure, and I'm sure Jessi would be fine with it too. If you send a tip through like Venmo or anything we have linked, if you want to include like a message or a question or something in
I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I'm down with that for sure.
We'll make sure to answer it on this show. So even if you're not able to be there live or whatever for any reason, like we'll still, or if you want me to answer the question on Twitter, I'll do that too. Like just put it in the message like, hey, who do you think is going to win this match between so-and-so and so-and-so? Answer on Twitter, and I'll answer on Twitter for you.
Yeah. That I will do the same thing. So yeah, totally. I'm down with that. And and then you can subscribe to my OnlyFans if you want to support me directly. That's probably the best way, other than the tip jar and here. And then if you're buying pizza, you can use my code Jessi25, JESSI25 for 25% off your entire Papa John's pizza order. So you do that too. So yeah, that's about it. And just enjoy some wrestling.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Babes podcast. We're interviewing somebody really cool on Thursday. So it'll be fun.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the K-Babes, Jamie Kilstein, and of course Jessi Davin here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're all K-Babes.
We're all K-Babes. And yeah, Skull Vikings, Jesus Christ.
Yes, I know. And the Browns lost, though.
Well, you beat us at least.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. But I was so heartbroken, and then they won it. I was like, thank God.
I couldn't believe with the Vikings yesterday. It was like, Sunday. It's like,
I know. I texted you. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, they deserve to lose. Like the only downside of that win for me is like I think they would have they would have booted Mike Zimmer if we would have lost, and they need to. Our coach is just. We have too much talent to be in these positions. Every week we're losing within like one play. Like, I mean, it's like, and then we won with the last play this time, but it's like, you know, our kicker had missed a game-winning kick earlier this year, and he hit one this time, but it's like, it's such an unreliable way to be playing NFL football. Like, you're relying on a kicker who's not clutch.
The damn Bengals game was drunk. The kicking game was drunk there.
Yeah. It's wild. You get in these kickers' heads and like they can't shake it. It's like getting the yips in baseball when if you remember,
icing the kicker actually works.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a mental game with that stuff. Like, I don't know if you remember years ago. This would have been like 20 years ago already. But Chuck Knobloch, he was like a really good second baseman for the Minnesota Twins, and then he got traded to he either got traded or signed in free agency. I can't remember with the New York Yankees, and for whatever reason he caught the yips when he was with the Yankees, and he couldn't throw the ball from second base to first base. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in sports. He threw the ball so, like, there was a play, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube pretty easily. There was one play where it's just a routine ground ball to second base. He turns, throws the ball to like just trying to throw to the first baseman, throws it like 3 rows deep into the crowd and hit Keith Olbermann, who's with the MLB, hit his mom in the head with the ball.
Oh my god!
Because like no one's expecting the ball to get thrown into the crowd. Because he caught this mental block where he just couldn't throw the ball to first base anymore. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And that's like kickers in the NFL. Like, you get in their head, sometimes they never recover. Sometimes they're like Dan Carlson, and they totally recover. Like, we drafted that dude. He missed all the kicks that we had him kick for like 3 games, and then he went to the Raiders, and now he's like statistically like the best kicker in the league right now, of course. So
I know.
Apparently the problem with him, Jessi, that the Vikings coaching couldn't detect, they said that when he went to Las Vegas, or
I heard this,
to the Raiders, they said that all they did was they adjusted.
Had him take like an extra half step. Yeah.
He was standing 1 half step off of where he should have been. And
that's a coaching problem right there.
I know. Like, and we drafted him in like the 5th round or something when we did. I mean,
which is high for a kicker.
Yeah. So, anyways, that all said, we'll get out of here. Enjoy your week, y'all. We'll be back probably sometime next week, maybe this weekend. I don't know. Me and Jessi will talk about it, get it figured out. If you're subscribed to the channel, make sure you're putting that notification bell so you know when we're going live. Also, follow me at FightTalk_ and Jessi at Jessi the Buckeye. Because we always post links when we know we're going live and stuff too. Try to keep y'all updated. So that's that. I'm out of here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.